Okay, it was Ray Archuleta. That's who we got hooked up with and sent us off into a journey that we haven't understood or recovered from yet. All right, I'm gonna go through this pretty quickly. I want to get to some other stuff. Nature's way. Well, my whole career has been about how does nature do things and can we emulate that? Can we do that in the lab? Can we do that on a farm? Can we do these things? As Ray pointed out, it's had millions and billions of years of research and development, but I'm more sensitive than Ray because it could be thousands of years depending on your religion. Anyway, it grows a skin for living systems. Think about that. Fish, buffalo, what is skins? Well, soil actually grows a skin. Look, that's a skin. It cycles nutrients. It's diverse. It doesn't have any monoculture. It seeks balance. It's integrated. R&D experience builds root networks, plant roots. That's all important. This is how I've been doing it. Strip the skin off, destroy organic matter, increase erosion, inputs, wastewater district. That's how I've done it. All the farms I worked on, we conventional tilled everything to death. Our idea of a pretty field was clean, no life, death. It was actually death. I'm changing my mind now. My research is on 200 acres, is conventional till versus no-till. These guys are getting to me. I don't know what's happening. Marlin tried to get me drunk to convince me of some things. I resisted. This is an actual hieroglyph from a pyramid somewhere in Egypt, 3500 BC. They were plowing the soil. 3500 BC. This is your great, 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 blah, 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 grandfather's technology. Why are we still doing it? They said, I've seen some stuff that showed that the Chinese now showing that some of their history, 7000 BC, they were tilling. Do you guys know of any technology that we're using today that was made in 3500 BC? Anybody? Me neither. That. It's the only thing I can think of, tillage. So the question is, why are we still doing it? I mean, that's a fair question. It's not, you're a bad person if you till, but it's a fair question, I think. Well, our ancestors didn't have these. They had the right equipment, they might not have had to till. They didn't know any better. If they would have, how different would farming have been today? That's an Amish, folks. That's a no-till drill. They're pulling with horses. I know you probably thought that was ARS research, but it's not. That's what can we do? We can do these things. This is not something we can theorize or think about. We can increase organic matter. We can make all these things happen. How do we do it? Try no-till. Plant cover crops. I don't mean across everything. Try it somewhere. Try it on 10 acres. Try it on 5 acres. Try it on 1,000 acres. Try it. How are we going to get anything different if we don't? Cover crops harvest the light. How many of y'all, when you eat food, what are you actually eating? You're trying to eat food for energy, right? So you can get up and walk around like I am right now. Where's that energy come from? Why, that's boring. Where does that energy come from? Yes, so we're eating light. There's aspects to that that are more important than what we think about. We're actually eating light. So, let's use these guys. There's a theme here. Light comes in. If you got a bare soil, how much light are you capturing in that soil? How much life are you capturing in that soil? You cannot fix soil without plants. You can't fix soil with chemistry. You fix soil with living plants. That's what fixes soil. This is my sciencey part coming out. Look how sophisticated that is. That's the NGP cycle. This is a tiny, tiny portion of how life happens that we understand a little bit of. That's an enormously complex thing. So we can capture sunlight to provide energy for soil life, right? You can't do that in a bare soil. And then there's this debate about, well, if you plant these cover crops, it's going to suck all the moisture out, and you can't plant no crop and everything dies. That's a really positive, forward-looking, forward-thinking attitude. I'm more about, hey, let's try to do something. Let's not just stand back and say, oh, you can't do that. That don't take much intelligence or any kind to just say, hey, you can't do that. That's just lazy. I don't think we need to be lazy. But But I would a lot rather slow the moisture loss from soil through a plant than evaporate it. Why would we want to just evaporate it when you can grow a living plant and release? You'll actually slow the moisture release coming out here and get a bunch of benefits. I have to say this, I was put up to this, so y'all forgive me. I was told I needed to come up here and talk to you people because you're all idiots. You don't understand anything. It was gay. Now, to be clear, sometimes we hear what we want to hear. I found out later he was talking about me. He said, "You're an idiot, come up here, we're going to straighten you out." So I had the whole thing backwards. Where's my money? All right, a quick example, legumes. When we fix nitrogen, everybody understand that all nitrogen fertilizer comes from the air, right? Y'all get that? You know that? How much nitrogen is in natural gas? Anybody? None. Zero. We use the hydrogens. We suck it out of the air. It's free, but it costs a lot to change it. There it is. This is how we do it. We suck it out of the air, industrial fixation, 400 degrees Celsius, 200 atmospheres of pressure. Wow. These dumb legumes do it at room temperature and 1 atmosphere. How does that happen? No, we're smart. We can do it this way. We don't want to do that way. That's almost free. All that costs is seed. We can't do that. See my point? Energy intensive, wasteful, efficient, helpful. These are, I love the legumes in the mix. That's just one of my favorite things. My grandparents did it. I started my research years ago on the farming, and because I'm so amazing, and if you don't believe that's true, ask any one of these guys. They've been around me a little bit. I started running our research fields like a farm because it had to make money. We don't have any more money in the budget for field research, so it's got to make money. So I emulated my grandfather's practices. Cover crops, crop rotation. They didn't have fertilizers back then, so it spurred all this understanding and research. This is NRC. What's the last name? Yes, NRCS. I've heard of it. Unlock the secrets in the soil. There's 2 million pounds of soil in the top 6 inches. There's 40,000 pounds of organic carbon, 4,000 pounds of organic nitrogen. Think about that for just a second. 4,000 pounds of organic nitrogen. We put on what, 100, 200 pounds of nitrogen to grow corn? There's 4,000 pounds. There's 2,000 pounds of organic feed. But here's the key. I know you can't see that very well. There's 1,000 pounds of microbes if you're doing the right thing. You want to get these guys to get after that and that through that. Otherwise, you just throw all the fertilizer out there and ignore all this crap and be really inefficient and cost a lot more money. I don't know really anybody's for that. As Ray said, we're not anti-fertilizer, we're anti-too much fertilizer. What's wrong with efficiency? But you're not going to get at those 2 pools unless you got them going. Period. These are going to be dormant forever if you don't get them going. And that's what this soil health thing is about. Let's get these guys going. Feed them, help them. Okay, I'm going to get through this. How much crop yields are triple fertilization? Isn't that a good question? Anybody know the answer to that question? Okay, good answer. Depends on many factors. This is the science department. Yeah, it depends on a lot of factors. We don't ever want to really a scientist say anything, we can be held accountable for. Depends on lots of factors, blah, blah, blah. Some attempts have been made to estimate it. This is 74, 64. So here you go, 33%, 55%, 31%. That's how much the crop yield comes from fertilizer. Well, that's kind of a shocker. Magruder plots, you ever heard of those? Oklahoma State, established in 1892. They started using inorganic fertilizer in 1930. Compared the yields to controls plus NP to see what the effect is. 1930 to 2000. That's only, let me see if I can do the math. 70 years of data. 40% of the fertilizer you can account for. And it's only 70 years of data. 70 years. You gotta get this. So 40% of the fertilizer you use actually makes it into the plant, but we only got 70 years a day. I've had people argue with me about this. Well, that's bullshit, I ain't right, I can't be right. Wow. The Morrow plots in Illinois, 1888. This is corn, 55, 57%. No, it's 100, right? You put on fertilizer, you get it all, right? No, wrong. This is 40-year average, irrigated corn, Kansas, 54, 42. That's with phosphate and without phosphate. Here's just, 41, 31, 17, 19, 19, 16. Conclusion. This is not my conclusion. This is their conclusion. I got this from a company. Made it available to me. It's on their website. Percent of yield attributed to fertilizer depends on many variables, but the generalization of 35 to 50% is probably sound. My question was, where's the rest of it coming from? I asked people this in my graduate school because I was a dumb Okie coming to Texas to learn. Where's the rest of it come from? Nobody had an answer. Well, we believe. So, soil testing, I thought, well, geez, maybe I can do soil testing research. Nobody else is doing it. Maybe we can move this along a little bit. This is how we do it currently. We treat the system as a non-living, non-integrated system. Is that true? Is that a truth? Is that the truth? Yes. Is that what it is? Yep. Some of you are looking at me like, here's the right response. Focus on the physical and chemical analysis. Why? Because it's easy. It's easy. Biological's hard. And as Americans, by God, we do the hard things, right? We don't back off. We extract the soil with chemistry that the soil's never seen, which I thought was a mistake. Measure the house and not the food. That's organic matter. That's not what we're measuring. I'll show you that. So, here we go. My wife. I'm glad she's not here. She puts these pictures in here. She's funny. You notice this one? Lab technician sent for a girl. She slipped that in on me. I was just like, oh, that looks cool. It looks old, showing the methods are old. And I read that, she goes, that's what she thinks of my science. Soil NPK, soil pH, C, percent organic matter goes to recommendation. Where's the soil biology? Where? Take out any conventional soil test and show me where the soil biology is. You won't find it. It only drives 80% of the system. Just 80 equals ignore it. Nature's way, soil. It cycles nutrients, it's integrated, blah, 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 receives water, biologically diverse. How can we test it? See, this is what I think. This is because I'm an Okie and a Texan. Treat the soil as a living, integrated, let's treat the soil like it is. This is really what it is. It's living, integrated, use these new things, use soil extracts that are naturally occurring. We're doing that. Integrate the data. This is critically important. Better information, better efficiency. Here we go. These make sense, right? A little bit. We integrate all this data. We don't measure, nothing stands by itself. And then I learned this from Ray, that's the biggest player, that's second, they're in proportion to how important they are. But this is all about soil biology and integrating all this stuff together. We can grow microbial and organic chemical diversity with plant roots, with a living root. Roots fix dirt. Remember that. I had that ended up actually being my sophisticated thing. Roots fix dirt. My wife said I should make it more complicated, but and she told me what it should be, and I didn't understand it, so I just stayed with that. This is the nitrogen cycle. This is just to show you this is a very complex system. It's an amazingly complex system. We still don't understand all of it. Right, Greg? Yeah. Corn plant roots, there's all this stuff that's happening. These are molecules in the air, lightning, blah, blah, blah. It's really complex. That's what we measure currently. 1 form of nitrogen. 1. That's it. To show all this, we captured it right there. No, wrong. We didn't. Another one of hers. She thinks, anyway. This is what we measure. Ammonium, nitrate, water extractable total nitrogen. We use the microbial respiration system, organic N, seed Ns. This is a calculation, that's a calculation. Don't you think that's probably a more robust nitrogen number if we measure all that as opposed to that? We measure that too. It's right there. Phosphate is really complex. And we have some super secret science we're not going to reveal to you right now because we don't understand it. But we're going to tell you about phosphate in a few years. Currently, you can take your pick. Current labs use up to 7 different extractions. You ever send a soil sample to 2 or 3 different labs and get 2 or 3 different answers back for the same soil? Anybody? Somebody just, okay. Yes, I have. They use different methods. This is why the numbers are different. This is why they don't make sense sometimes. And we write off soil testing. We should never write off soil testing. It's a valuable tool. But here's all the things we measure for phosphate. This is my soil extractant. It mimics what a plant root does. This is 5 years. This took 5 years of my life. And it's a different system. But we measure all these things. Soil health, current lab. So permanganate carbons that are popular one you might hear about is called active carbon. It's not what the microbes see. They see water-soluble carbon. That's what we measure. They'll see permanganate. Organic matter is the house, not the food. We measure the food. Here's the food. That's the food right there. Balance of the food. Activity, food, balance. Then they have another one. Well, we can do this nitrogen mineralization at 40 degrees Celsius. Anaerobic means it's underwater. But it can't do some things. It has some limits. Ours, of course, are unlimited. And it is because of my brilliance. Yes. See? All right, this is quick. This is not like this is brand new. 1896, they started to understand organic compounds. 1919, look at this. 1919, it's 100 years ago. CO2, ammonium, and nitrate formation are parallel processes of a biological nature. Here we are in 2014. By God, we've got it again. We've got it. They had it then. We dropped it. But we're back. So there's this progression. Things are going. Look at this, 1935. CO2 evolution was greatest first day after he wetted. Microbes take in oxygen, give off CO2 just like we do. We can measure that in soil. So off we go. And then in the 1970s, everything got blown up. And we switched from activity to mass. We're going to measure this mass of microbes in the soil. Actually, we're going to estimate it. So we went right off the rails. We're trying to bring it back. So the thing we do different, we are measuring soil health by asking the soil the right questions. What condition are you in? Are you in balance? And what can we do to help? We don't get the soil in there, beat it up with a bunch of chemistry, and then demand an answer from it. We're pretty gentle, and we just kind of ask it to tell us. Soil biology is a complex, integrated living system. That's an important word right there. So is that. So is that. Hopefully those pools that haven't been touched before. And you can believe that or not believe that. It's your money. Your money. I'm not trying to sell you something. Yet. If they fire me, I may have, another business. This is big money, folks. This is win-win. If your inputs come down a little bit, and you maintain your yields, maximum profit, not maximum yield. That's what we're trying to help you do here. Scott, tell me, can you go back to the...
Scroll back over?
Yes, sir. All right, which one was it?
2.
This one?
The bottom one, yeah.
Okay, so Scott told me this story. We get these samples blind. I don't know what's going on most of the time. Tell them your story. Tell me your story.
Josh.
According to our Ray Wharton's test, we were supposed to put on over 200 pounds of nitrogen to raise 220 bushel corn, and I only applied 100 pounds of nitrogen, and we had 193 bushel corn out of that bottom sample. With to the right, there was like 13 pounds that we had in the soil on a traditional soil test.
So it's a farmer. He believed the data. He didn't believe, he doesn't believe me. It's not about me yet, turns out. I've had guys call me and say, well, you saved us all this money. No, your leap of faith saved you the money, not me. If you don't believe it, it's gone. It doesn't matter how good our testing is or what it is. If you don't believe it and act, no benefit, you know? Because I won't guarantee you this much, in all humility, if my test is wrong and you don't make as good a yield, I'm not gonna cut you a check for the difference. I'm not. And neither is the fertilizer dealer. Are they? Have anybody experienced that? We put a lot of fertilizer on over the years. If you didn't make as good a yield as your neighbor, do you put on the same fertilizer? Do they come and make a difference up? No. So don't expect me to. That's all I'm saying. All right. The graphic thing. Yeah, I'm going to show you. See, I've already messed it up. I've shown you this on a slide, but the neat thing about this is it's all interactive. You can just pick it and click it. So you can scroll through these things pretty quickly because boy, it's easy to see that. I think this is my soil. Yeah. It's pretty easy to see that the inorganic's smaller than the organic. That's a nice flash. Click. Pow. Yeah, that looks organic. You know, see, this is Texas. You know, phosphate up here 70 or 80 pounds and we find it. Ours is 3 and 5. High pH. So, but anyway, this is where we're trying to head to make this more interactive for folks. And so, that's where we're going.